What's up, guys? Guys, we're going to go over yesterday. I'm kind of pressed. And I'll tell you why. We're going to go over, though. After stream yesterday, well, I'll wait for people to hop in here. Let's wait for some people. Let's wait. I'll throw everything up, though. Let's get that. Check my phone. What's up, Michael? All right, guys. We'll wait for a couple more people to hop in here. We'll wait till 45 because that's usually when I go live. We're a minute early. It's good. Some is Jinx. What's up? We're going to go over yesterday. Again, yesterday could have been great. I know we did end up taking a loss, but we're going to go over it. We're going to go over what I pulled out of the market as far as my observations. Again, I did a deep dive yesterday, guys. Like after stream, I went back and I dove so deep into the trade. I dove so deep into my data. I kid you not, I was up for like 3-4 hours. And it doesn't mean I went and changed anything, but I was just so convinced that this trade should have won. And not only that, UK 100 as well. I also went that deep dive into there, but we're gonna go over it. Okay. So yesterday, you guys know we did end up taking buys. We did end up losing, and I did go back and I did realize where I entered was a solid entry. What we saw was price break these highs here. Where was it? Here. We saw price break these highs. Did just barely break them, but at the end of the day, it did still break them. I marked up this fib tool just to kind of see where price was going to retrace into. Let's use a replay tool. And we did see that price had a very nice reaction right at the equilibrium. And we did end up flying higher right at London Open. It was a beautiful trade. Beautiful entry. I can't complain about that. But if you guys do remember, my original entry was at this high here. The reason I moved it down was because, again, this was still a valid entry. But one thing I did not realize was ultimately, even with me moving it down, I should have had my bigger stop loss. Because if we do end up closing this replay and seeing where I would have originally entered was these highs, and my stop would have been at this structural low down here because that's our last structural low within that bullish push, we would have never got taken out. Granted, price only did come to a 101, which, again, if you guys know my management plan, once I hit 101, I move to break even, and I take half my position off, okay? But, hold on, there's a bunch of chat. What's good, Z? All right, let's go back to it. So either way, like we still would have profited on this trade. It looks like we would have come down near break even, probably would have gotten taken out of break even. Can't say that for sure because, again, like we just missed it. But at the end of the day, we should have won on this trade. And again, I can't say should have because we didn't. But I ultimately want to go over this with you guys because, again, like even though we've had a phenomenal month, I'm always going back on my losing trades and seeing, okay, could I have done anything differently? Truly, I did everything correct as far as seeing an entry, seeing a lower entry, or seeing a smaller entry within that new internal London structure. But ultimately, where I think I went wrong was just my stop loss. I should have had my stop loss still down here. Yes, it would have been a relatively big stop loss. But at the end of the day, if it's big, doesn't matter. Again, it has to follow along with my system. Again, I still followed my system, but ultimately still went back and made a lot of observations. And this trade did end up running. Did end up going bullish, like I said it was. We just had a lot of chop before we did finally break out. I was going to re-enter, but it just was too late. Again, my cutoff time is 2 o'clock no matter what, 2 a.m. PST, and we ended up breaking these highs at around 2:30. It was just a no for me. But if I would have re-entered, again, we would have made some profits back. It is what it is. But let's go over to UK 100, because again, if you guys remember, UK 100 did have a nice opportunity as well. I did not enter, and the reason I did not enter, if you guys were here, was because we were trading into all-time highs. We didn't really have any targets, and prior to these all-time highs, we had a lot of attempts like here, where we just kind of top wicked. And if we would have had a stronger leg higher with an actual close and not as many top wicks, could have been a different story. But again, I deep dive into this, and I can't say I should have taken this because, again, I had a valid reason not to take this. I didn't want to take it because, again, we had no targets. But at the end of the day, looking at it, I could say I could have taken it, but ultimately this was just a very important piece of data to back up trading into all-time highs. Again, I don't have a shit ton of data because typically we're not trading into all-time highs all too frequently. But being that we did here and being that we did play out for that full 1-2, this would have been a solid 1-2 trade. Again, it is what it is. It was yesterday. Now we can come into today. Let's see what we're kind of looking at. First things first that I'm realizing is, again, the hourly made a new high. That should be clear as day to you guys. We had that bullish break here where we barely broke, had a pullback, and had that next expansion. So what am I doing off the top? Realizing that we are bullish within this leg, and we could be potentially looking for a pullback. So as I go down to lower time frames, what I'm instantly seeing is price was trending bullish. we had price kind of take this liquidity and instantly start dumping to the downside here, where we did kind of break this internal structure. And now what am I looking at? I'm looking at this internal structure. I'm seeing that price has facilitated a pullback of this bearish leg. And overall, being that we have not hit the 50% of that hourly leg, I do think we have room to sell off. I'm not really paying attention to this bullish leg. Yes, price could come down, react off this and go higher, but I'm kind of ignoring that because of the fact if we go back down to the structure that we were looking at within the 15-minute, from this low to this high, we never really had a full pullback. We never really saw price pull back into equilibrium. We just kind of continue to stretch out within that range. So therefore, I think we'll be valid for sells here. But what am I looking for sells? Is there issue with DX right now, guys? I'm looking solid. But going back to it again, what am I going to look for sells? Now that we've come into these highs, and another even better thing is we just took Tokyo highs, which is a very strong form of liquidity. I do think if we end up selling back off, breaking these lows down here, I will end up hopping into some sells where again, stops will be at these highs. Our first target will be 1-1, of course. And our second target is obviously 1-2, which is very good here because again, if we go back to the hourly, if we do end up facilitating that pullback deeper down, our equilibrium is still untouched. Our equilibrium still needs to be pulled back into, and that 1-2 comes before that equilibrium, telling me that it is a better probability of seeing those sells down into our full TP. So we'll see what happens today. Let's hope to capitalize from yesterday. Again, we had a very good day yesterday, even though we lost, because again, it still go to show that our higher time frame bias has played out beautifully. And again, ultimately that was good data. Now let's go to DAX. So with DAX, what am I looking for? I am honestly looking for buys still, right? We know that we were bullish yesterday. Let's delete all this. We know that we were bullish yesterday, where we saw price break on the 15-minute, had this quick pullback, and then we had that next break higher. And within this next break higher, we can see that price has now facilitated a pullback within the equilibrium of this new leg. One thing that I'm also looking at too is the the 4-hour time frame did end up coming back on the 4-hour and reacting off of this area perfectly. If you want to look at it as a fair value gap reaction, I look at it more as price came down, rebalanced the imbalance that we saw within price, and now we are trading higher. So ultimately, I am looking for buys here. But again, that does not mean I'm going to just buy off the bat. I need a second form of confirmation. We are now breaking these highs, which is very nice to see. I want to see price pull back into an equilibrium and then continue higher with a re-break of those highs. That ultimately will tell me that, again, we are facilitating the pullback within this new internal bullish structure, and we are seeing price re-break these highs to the upside. So ultimately, let's see if we can get some setups today. We need to see a little bit more confirmation as far as price pulling back, or UK 100 already pulled back, so we just need to see a break of the low at this point. DAX, we do need to see price pull back, and then we need to see a re-break of those highs, which again, it's a beautiful trade because that 1-2 happens before these highs are broken. And again, if we go back to the hourly, I do expect these highs to be taken. I ultimately expect these highs up here to be taken. And from a daily standpoint, I expect these highs to be taken. Because again, if we go back to the daily time frame, we were previously bullish, we had our pullback into equilibrium, and then we started trading higher from there. So ultimately, our next goal, probability-wise, or our next target should be these highs, okay, from a technical standpoint, okay? So we'll see what happens. I think we'll get into a trade today. But let's go to NQ. What is JR on futures? So unfortunately, if you are trading with Legacy, DAX and UK 100 is not on Legacy, nor is it on most futures prop firms. But that's why I also trade NQ. We're going to go over NQ. Yesterday, you guys know that we were looking for some setups. We can kind of go back to that and see that price just didn't give us entry. From this first initial position here, where we're looking at it from a 1-minute standpoint, we did have that bullish impulse where we just missed our entry point, which would have been this equilibrium. I would have waited for a reaction. Price ended up taking off, which just to me expands our overall range. And then we did have another attempt, but again, price barely missed equilibrium and then took off. It is what it is. I can't control the markets, but I have to stick to my plan. I have to. Since it didn't hit, yes, you could have entered, but this was a very good example of what a good entry could have been. If this would have hit this candle, if it would have hit equilibrium and reacted that way, that is a very strong reaction for buys because we're seeing price sell off and we're seeing buyers instantly take back control of the market. So let's go into today's bias for NQ. My bias right now is bullish. That's kind of ugly. I mean, overall, we have been bullish. So I'm going to continue to trade with that trend. We are taking these highs, which could be, some type of form of liquidity to see us sell right back off, back into some discounted leg within this leg here, or discounted price within this leg, sorry. So I'm going to play a little bit safer. But ultimately, what are we seeing on the 5-minute? We're seeing a nice little bullish trend here. We're seeing higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. And now we're seeing on the 1-minute, we're also seeing the same thing. Higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. So ultimately, we could see if we could catch some type of setup. Looks like price has already came down into our area of interest and is now trading higher. So what am I going to look for? I'm going to either wait for price to make a new high and continue to trade with that bullish trend. Or if price flips here, I'm just going to trade that trend back down. So we'll see what happens. Again, we have our bias. We know what we're going to do. It's just a matter of what's going to happen today. How's M&Q? M&Q is good. There's been 2 trades this week that we barely miss our entry point, and then it goes into our desired targets, which again, I can't do anything about that. At the end of the day, price is going to do what it wants to do, but I have to follow my plan, guys. Like, I have to. I would feel worse not following my plan and winning than watching my trade play out with my overall bias or my initial bias and not entering the trade. This is how I am. You can 100 buys look solid. Yeah, you can 100 buys look solid, but I'm actually looking for potential sells. It just depends if price is going to sell off. Okay, I'm not really paying attention to this bullish leg here because I do see the fact that we did create a new hourly leg, and I do think that if we do see that sell off happen during London, we will most likely come down and play this entire pullback. So again, like, buys could end up playing out, and if buys play out, again, I'm going to sit on my hands because once again, we would be trading into all-time highs. Yes, we have this target, but there's really no entry for me within here. But if we do end up trading higher, I'm probably just going to let it go. And if it does end up just absolutely ripping above these highs, because if I were to enter, it would realistically have to be at these highs. Stops would be at these lows, and our 1 to 2 would be all the way up here. And again, price could do the same thing it did yesterday. It could hit that. But granted, I want to get a little bit more data before I start trading into all-time highs. I do have a decent amount of data. Again, like, I deep dive for like 3-4 hours yesterday back into old data to see if it could support trading into all-time highs. I just never relatively been fond of it. But again, based off what I saw, like, it is worth it in some cases. It just depends on how price looks. It really is. But being that we have already kind of extended from that initial or that old high, made a new high, realistically, my next entry is going to be looking for some type of pullback before we end up looking for buys again. But we'll see. Again, price could end up ripping higher. If it does, it is what it is. But ultimately, if we do get that sell off, we just took a very nice form of liquidity, which was Tokyo highs. We facilitated a pullback within this new internal bearish leg. We do have some room for sells. It's just a matter of if and when. Again, that pullback may not happen today. It could happen next week, and we just continue to pump for the next 2 days. Yeah, true. Yeah, that's definitely what I went back into. I went back into old data from last year because I remember there was a lot of situations trading into all-time highs, which I relatively just stayed away from. But a lot of it was supporting the fact that, again, like, and this is general knowledge, like, indices are meant to go higher. So therefore, you can ultimately assume price is going to continue higher. One thing about yesterday was just the fact that price had such a horrible break prior to this. Like, we did break these highs here, but then we had so many attempts, or at least just this attempt, where we wanted to come higher. We could have came higher, and we just had a very nasty reaction that could have leaned more towards sells. Granted, we did end up breaking highs, and that's a good sign that price was going to go higher, and now we can trade that accordingly. But that doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to go for buys until price gives me a better point of interest. So we'll see what happens. Got a couple minutes. I like DAX more, truly. I really do. But again, I'm willing to put risk on both trades if they do end up presenting themselves. But I'll let you guys know if I enter. Hopefully I'm live on YouTube. I am live on YouTube. What's up, Cartoony? What's up, Cartoony? Again, we'll see what happens here. Let me make sure I'm set up here appropriately. 15, 40, 80. Yeah, we're solid now. Again, at this point, since price already facilitated the pullback of this new leg, I need to see either a new high being created or a new low for me to even really react or play off of anything. So we're seeing that pullback again. All I want to see, I'm not going to just take a break of these highs, guys. I really need to see price pull back, have some type of reaction, or just at least some type of pullback within this discounted price to then go higher from there on out. Legacy has UK 100? No, they do not. Again, that's why we are trading NQ. So if you guys only trade with Legacy, I am still trading NQ. So there is, potential for a setup there. But again, I trade on my live account when it comes to UK 100 and DAX. So do a lot of people in here. So see what happens. We're getting that pre-sell off that we usually see a couple seconds before open. Again, if we just rip higher and go, not entering anything, which it looks like that could be the case here, we could just end up ripping higher. And again, if that's the case, that's the case. But ultimately, there was really nothing for me to play off of. Looks like we are coming back here, which is beautiful. Wow, we flew. Again, guys, no sells taken. Trade kind of invalidated itself. Now we're just waiting on DAX if it is going to play higher. All I'm waiting for is just that retracement, which we got. We'll see, depending on where price does end up that stopping that sell-off. That'll be our stops. Obviously, we just continue to tank, then I'm not going to sell here. NQ got volume. I'll peep right now. Give me 1 second. Just got to make sure I'm set and ready. All right, let's see what happens. Again, UK 100 absolutely ripped. We're going to go over it right now. Let me just make sure, NQ's not doing too much. All right, we're good. We'll see if, again, I'm not entering until we get a rebreak of those highs. Again, there's a reason I wait, just because if price is going to continue bearish, we're going to let it continue bearish. Okay, we're not going to do anything if it does. But ultimately, we did get that kind of that internal structural break higher. UK 100, this is what we're going to go over right now. Okay, so if I would have taken buys here, like they could have been nice within this leg. I just didn't really consider this a very good leg because of the fact that if we look back from that structure from yesterday, we had that bullish impulse. We had an attempt at a pullback. We had a small pullback, but it never came back into a discounted price. And then we saw price continue higher, which to me just kind of stretches out our overall range. If I would have taken these buys, one, I wouldn't have taken it off this structure. I would have liked to see price maybe break these highs here, but we just kind of wicked them. If we had a candle closure, we could have potentially taken buys here. We'll see what continues to happen, if price is going to continue higher and higher and higher, or we're just going to end up wicking this and coming right back down after taking a very big area of liquidity. But we'll see. Again, like we could have played this structure down here, and we could have identified that price did have that pullback, and we could have taken a break of those highs, but ultimately this isn't really my go-to. We would have hit 101. 1 and 2 has not been hit yet. So we'll see if price does end up hitting that. And again, that could be another form of data. But ultimately, as of right now, it could just be a no trade day for that. Again, I kind of expected that. Yesterday, we had a beautiful day as far as we had two really good setups. One we didn't execute on. The other one we did end up getting stopped out early on. Sometimes once we do see those setups, the next day typically is a no trade day. But again, there was still setups. There was still possibility for a setup. It's just as of right now, we are not seeing that. So. But again, that's why I wait for entry, because again, like price is obviously going to do what it wants at open. We clearly see it doing something else. It had a different objective, and it did end up going higher. But overall, again, like this was the only possible setup here, which was, again, this break of this internal high, which I'm not really too fond of it, or even this high here. And then we had, obviously, from that high to that low, we'd mark our fib. We saw that pullback. We saw that reaction. And we saw price absolutely fly up here. So, but again, looks like DAX might be a no trade day. Same thing here. So we might just pay attention to NQ today, which we're not even really moving all too well right now. We'll see what happens. But again, even if today's a no trade day, guys, we always got tomorrow. One good trade is better than, yeah, exactly. I'd rather wait for my entry, guys, than ultimately go and shoot for something that's not necessarily worth it. Again, like I said, these buys could have been worth it. We would have definitely hit our 1-to-1, but our 1-to-2 is still a decent amount away. Where again, if we would have hit 1-to-1, we would have already been at break even. We would have already taken some profit, so it would have been a profitable day. How to know if it's the beginning of the end? You don't know. You don't know. Relatively, like, structure usually kind of gives you ideas, but ultimately price is going to have its own objective. If it's not ready to sell off, it's not ready to sell off. That's why I wait for my confirmations. That's why I needed to see a break of these lows, because that break of that low would ultimately have confirmed, okay, price is most likely going to continue to trend lower. But the fact that we did something different tells me that, again, price did want to continue bullish. Therefore, I kind of can sit on my hands. Yes, if I would have identified this, maybe we could have taken it, but I don't even think I would have taken these buys. I was very bearish overall just from yesterday's push and just based off how structured looked. But again, at the end of the day, like, this could have been a go-to setup depending on, let's see this. We did end up facilitating pull back there. I just don't like this leg, guys. I'm just not a big fan of this leg here. But again, looks like we're going to go bearish here. Once we break these lows, I'm going to, call it that. I don't even think I'm going to take another entry here. And the reason for that is just based off this reaction here. Again, we could have just needed one more push higher on UK 100. We could have just swept these highs, which again, I should have shown you guys prior to this. We didn't have no daily top wick on UK 100. Now we do. But again, I'll kind of wait and see if we do see price end up coming back here and then trading higher from that new bullish leg. Okay, now we know that price was overall bullish. Its objective for the day was bullish. And again, I had my bias. It didn't play out. But again, that doesn't mean I'm not going to go back and get data from this, guys. That's super key, super important to consistent long-term trading is, at least in my opinion, is, again, I had my bias, but sometimes my bias could be wrong. I don't think it necessarily was, even though price didn't play out. But I do think that price, either today, later today, tomorrow, or even going into next week, we will see that pullback. It's just I was looking at it too early, okay? But at this point, both trades are kind of invalidated. We'll see what happens. Just kind of waiting on NQ now to kind of make something happen. Buys aren't looking too hot. Like, we are bullish within this trend, but we're just seeing a lot of top wicks, and that's just kind of telling me we could see some sells. Chew, you take buys on UK 100? My journal? I mean, I can show you my journal. Pull it up. So I track based off percentages, guys. Here, let me pull it up. I track based off percentages. So it shows that its current balance is $4, but it's 4%, or for last month. So last month, I only made about 4.5%, but that's just based off one account. But I usually just track in percentages, at least 1%. It's a lot easier for me just to kind of go back into AI and stuff like that. So last month, I had a 71% win rate. This month, a 60%. And if we go down, we can see again, we get first trade of the month, 1.5% was made. That's just based off my RR and just based off the percentage I risk. But you can see that, again, like, this is my entire journal here. That's just how I track. Because I have multiple different accounts, or I'll trade a funded, or I'll trade my live account, and I just don't want to kind of fuck up all the data. So you guys can see these last two trades that we taken have been losses for this week, but prior to this, we had a nice little run here, had one loss, had a run. But what I saw from my overall data so far is just the fact that, one, DAX has, UK 100, we only have one loss on UK 100 so far this year. DAX has been 3, so I think it was like 3 or 4, something like that. But again, that's super important to track trades, just because, again, like, it gives me an idea, okay, like, how much percentage am I making a month if I were to, assume that I'm trading 100K account. That's what I base it off of. Do this video where you trade a strategy you never traded to. Fuck no. Maybe. Who knows? What is NQ doing? But again, like, I've been doing pretty good so far this year. Again, the win rate's solid, but ultimately, like, what killed us so far this month was just was this week, truly. I mean, I'm still up for this month, but ultimately, at the end of the day, like, both trades that I took were valid, especially yesterday's trade. It was just, I think my stop loss was definitely, it was in the right place based off the internal structure, but it was in the wrong place based off the fact that I should have been playing the swing structure. Um, so that's definitely something that I did note down. Yeah, UK 100 had a big rejection. That's where I'm not really looking to buy, guys. Like, one, yes, these buys could have been valid, but granted, we would have only profited 0.5 RR, if you guys want to say that, because I closed half my position and price ended up coming back down to break even. We never hit 1 and 2, so we never hit our full TP. And again, this reaction kind of tells me that price could have just came up, take liquidity, and we could see price sell right back off. But I'm not going to look for sells until we see maybe a new leg being made. If we see a new leg made, maybe I could take that retest back down, only if. But obviously, if we kind of bottom wick here and go higher, I'm just not going to look for anything. But I do think we could still see sells here. It's just a matter of if and when, or it's more of a matter of when. There's always a reaction at 12 a.m. PST, London Open, so we should do it. So we should do the live after that, bro. Yeah, like the thing is, like, I like trading that initial volume push. There has been a couple of my trades, especially last year, where we honestly a lot of our wins came from that opening candle. But one thing that again going back to data, guys, that it did tell me is right now any trade that I've taken after 1 a.m. I have a 100% win rate. I think it's 4 trades that I've taken. So again, there's not a lot of trades. I mean, granted, we only started this year. We're only 2 months into the year. But most of my trades happen before 1 a.m., where I still have a very good win rate. But everything after 1 a.m., typically I don't lose, right? Just based off the data that I have accumulated so far. So again, that's where I'm willing to still give this a shot. Like if we do end up creating a new bearish leg down, breaking this low, we can again play this high to this low. We could wait for that. Obviously, we need to see that break first. We can wait for that pullback, and then I'd be comfortable entering on that trade because, again, it goes to show we came up, took liquidity, and then now we're trading back down. So, again, like don't want to say I'm happy that I didn't take these buys, but at the end of the day, my bias was bearish for a reason. Therefore, like I'm going to stick to that bias until proven otherwise. But this goes to show that the bias could still be overall correct from a higher time frame standpoint, just based off the fact that price needed to come up higher, maybe take some more liquidity before we saw price end up continuing lower. But that's if. Oh, yeah, we are seeing price come higher here. I could still take buys on DAX, not going to lie. We are coming higher on NAS. Can you look at gold? Yeah. Fuck, wrong market. All right, so gold. Delete this. We just took Tokyo highs, so honestly, like just based off the lower time frame, I do like we're still bullish within this 5-minute leg for sure. So we definitely can continue higher within that trend. But just based on the fact that we took some good liquidity here, we saw a nice little reaction after the fact. We could see price come back down, but I would ultimately wait for some type of confirmation that price is selling off, maybe like a break of this low. But again, like price still has room to go higher, being that we're still within this bullish 5-minute trend. So. Again, I'll be here for like about an hour, guys, especially because UK 100 still does look good. It's just a matter of, are we going to see the breaks that we need to see? UK 100 still looks good in the sense of, again, I'm not going to take a break these lows, guys. At this point, being that price did play higher, I just need to see a break and then a potential retest. And then as far as DAX, again, if we are just kind of top wick and continue lower, obviously we're going to continue to see sells. But depending on how the 15 and 30 minute closes, again, we could see a nasty bottom wick that could just then lead to prices going higher. And again, from a higher time frame standpoint, I am overall bullish. And also being that DAX has no top wick, that's also just another confluence that could tell me that price will end up ripping higher. Again, it's just a matter of if and when. How's MNQ looking? We're kind of going up slowly here, not seeing a lot of volume. But again, as soon as we see a break of these highs here, we can now play this new bullish leg. Once we see a break of those highs, we can play that new bullish leg. But again, like we still obviously need to see a pullback. I don't just take breakouts like I do sometimes, but not on NQ's sake. But again, oh my God, I hate when it does this. Hold on. All right, let me turn that one last setting off. All right, so we're now breaking these highs. So depending on where we kind of range up to, where we kind of stop and start pulling back, if we do start pulling back, I will like to take an entry either at the 50% or the 71%. It just depends on where we get our first initial reaction from. Just based off how price looks, I'd honestly prefer to take a reaction off the 71% because we have a nice order block sitting within discount here. And that's just ultimately a little bit higher probability. I think DAX will come lower here, guys. Definitely could come lower, but I'm still expecting the same thing. Even if we do come lower, guys, I still think at some point we are going to see higher prices, just based off the higher time frame. But again, like a higher time frame does tell a lot, of the story. I showed you Cartoony. But that journal is more like just solely for data. Oh, like a personal journal? Yeah. Yeah. NQ. All right, we ripped higher. Great. So we got that break of structure. That tells us that we definitely are still going to most likely continue bullish within this overall bullish trend. So again, like obviously if we're going to continue bullish, I am going to continue to trade that bullish trend. But let's just hope price doesn't absolutely take off from here. Which again, that's fine if it does, but ultimately what we need to see is again that pullback, which even at the 50%, we could end up still taking it here because we're now seeing a nice little order block sitting within the 50%. It is still in discount, and we could see prices go higher here. But again, this range is just kind of stretching out. Not Tesla, fuck Tesla, Cartoony. DAX is going lower, so as of right now, gonna not trade DAX, or at least not look for buys, nor am I gonna look for sells because again, like my overall bias is for buys. Just from a higher time frame standpoint, I'd rather let price do its thing, play out. And if we do get an opportunity later, and again, like the only opportunity I would look for is if like price did sell off and then I would need to see a break of these highs. I wouldn't enter there because again, I would just need that confirmation that price is now bullish again. Pull back, and then I could take that, pullback entry. But obviously it would need to happen before 2 a.m. or I don't enter. All right, we're seeing that pullback potentially. Let's get a trade today on NQ, guys. Let's get a fucking trade. Literally the only setups we've seen this week have barely missed our confirmation and ripped in our direction, which sucks, but it is what it is. Again, I'm not just going to enter at the 50%, guys. I can, but I need to see a reaction candle. So again, like, where's a prime example here? Maybe we can find something here. So what do we see here? We saw price push higher, saw price sell off, didn't have the best reaction here, did kind of have a decent reaction here, but then that next candle did end up selling off within that 71%, but then had a nasty pullback here. This type of reaction is what I'd like to see to enter at the break of that candle high and then take price higher. It's just a stronger candle reaction. It tells us that, okay, sellers were in control, but buyers are definitely pulling back, pretty strong. So that's really what pushes me over the line when it comes to those sells. I mean, those buys or those entries. It would suck to see price just take these lows, rip higher, and just take off. I mean, granted, like, to be 100 with you, this setup still is valid for a break of these highs because we never closed beneath these lows. We'd rather just wicked it and kind of treat it as liquidity. But at this point, I think I'd still want to wait for that new high to be made, and then we could obviously play that trend if that trend is going to end up playing out. Looks like we are coming back up. Same thing with UK 100. Oops. And Q still kind of ripping here. It's fine. Money's coming. I'm feeling it too. Again, I'd like to take just another break, like a break of these highs. We could end up, our stop would be all the way down here, which again, it is a pretty decent stop, but it's not too bad. But ultimately, I think I'd rather just wait for that confirmation of price breaking that new high, having a pullback, and then the continuation of that new bullish trend. So again, you guys can take the break of the high, but I'd rather wait for that extra little bit of confirmation, especially because it's DAX. And when it comes to DAX, like, just based off what I saw, like, my best trades from DAX is when we are clearly within a bullish trend where we see a new high, lower low, or higher low, higher high, and then obviously that continuation there. It depends on, like, on legacy. So like with some firms, like, there's a consistency rule. So if you hit the profit target in one day, you may not pass it because there's a consistency rule in place. Because again, like, sometimes hitting profit target in a day can be skill, but it also can be luck and just over leveraging. And a lot of firms have those consistency rules in place because they don't want to fund traders who are just full porting and not caring, right? Consistent traders. So if you are trading with, make sure there's no consistency rule on whatever you're trading on. If there isn't, you're solid. But if there is, you may still have to continue to trade to make sure that your consistency rule is in line with the overall rules. We are coming higher on DAX. Again, the bias was bullish today. Because gold is shit. Cartoony. We're just continuing higher on NAS. Again, like, the bias is playing out as far as we were bullish, but we still need to see our entry, which again, like, we're only 21 minutes into session, so we ultimately still can see that. I'm already M&Q fire crew. Fire again, like, if we were trading a little bit earlier, I definitely would have liked to enter down here and then obviously a rip of these highs, but it was just nothing that was really overwhelming for me, like, especially because I wait for London open. But we are just fucking ripping. DAX is ripping higher. UK 100 is still stuttering. I honestly think DAX is going to end up coming higher, but we'll see. Obviously, it could just be facilitating some type of pullback within this leg to go lower, but just based off the reaction down here at these lows, on the 15-minute, the 30-minute, even the hourly, it looks very promising for the continuation of buys. But it's just a matter of time. And again, like, I'll be on live for like at least 40 more minutes. So, you know, like, don't expect me to go anywhere. But if like price does end up breaking this high, I'm still going to wait for that pullback. And then of course, like in my personal Discord, I will be signaling to you guys if I do end up entering and stuff like that. Same thing for UK 100. If we do end up coming down, breaking these lows, I will be waiting for that pullback and that continuation back down. Which on both of these, so like, let's say we did end up making a new high here, I'd be more confident in taking the trade at the 50%. So like, let's say this is where our high goes to. If it does, I would most likely enter at the 50% with stops below those lows, because then again, price is confirming during London that we are making new highs, and that just gives me more confidence with entering a little bit earlier rather than waiting for a break of the high. The only reason I wait for a break of a high in these cases is because, especially being that the leg happened before London open, again, like, if I would have entered at 50% here, we would have got taken out. And that's a prime example of why I wait for either a new leg to be made during London and then I enter at 50% to go higher, Or overall, like in this case, since we made that new leg higher, I just wait for the break of the high to confirm that price is breaking and making new highs. But again, we may not even get that break on DAX. We may just end up selling right back off. But UK 100, again, same thing with UK 100. So since we did end up opening very bullish, kind of taking liquidity, if we do make that new low, once we kind of come back into the equilibrium of this new bearish leg, if it does create a bearish leg, same thing, I will be entering at the 50% stops at these highs, and I will be targeting, obviously, my 1 to 2s. Excuse me. And Q could have entry soon. Oh my god. Thank you for telling me. All right, if we see a reaction at this candle, guys, oh fuck. We need to see a strong reaction. A strong reaction, meaning a very nice bottom wick. And we obviously see buyers taking back control. If we just close beneath this low, I'm going to wait a little bit. We have some other nice areas to play off of, like this order block or the 71%. So again, I don't mind if price closes through this level, but I need to see a strong reaction. This to me is still not a strong reaction. We need to see some buyers take control here. That's a decent reaction. We'll see how price closes. Not a bad reaction. Let's see how this candle reacts. Again, I would wait for break of highs. If this candle ends up wicking the same area, we could definitely shoot here at these highs. But if we just kind of blow through this level, then we'll wait for the next reaction. Thank you for telling me. Again, still have no entry. Not going to enter, guys. Not going to enter. That's why I wait. I mean, granted, even if we would have placed our limits there, we would have never even got the break of the high. But again, like we didn't have the best reaction here. We had a decent reaction, but obviously we are seeing price continue to trade lower. I mean, if we pull back here and have a crazy bottom wick, then but I just don't think that's the case now. So since we closed through it, I got to wait for price to either come into this order block and have a very strong reaction or come down into the 7%. Price could have just ended up flying here. But again, I play the reaction. I have to see a good reaction within the discounted price for me to even be able to enter. It's just how I play things. But since we close to equilibrium, it tells us that price is kind of looking to potentially sell further off. But obviously, price could just end up ripping here, guys. I'm not going to enter. I'm going to wait a little bit. We'll see what happens. But again, price can definitely still fly here, guys. But ultimately, if I would have entered this area, let's go to here. If I were to enter this area, just based off how price closed, like my stops would have to be all the way down here. Which again, it could be a good shot, but at the end of the day, now we're looking for a lot bigger move to fulfill our 1 to 2. So. What's the reason that currency is like in European Chinese currency can't be traded? Because they suck. Ada, this is NQ. I'm just not liking these reactions, guys. I'd rather wait. If price goes higher, it goes higher. Again, it goes to show our buys played out and ultimately can give us data. But just based off the reactions that we saw at equilibrium, it's just not promising. Especially seeing how price did end up trading higher and then just ended up pulling right back. Sellers obviously are still kind of in control until they're not. But again, that doesn't mean we still can't see higher prices here. DAX could still come higher, guys. We're kind of playing around here. I just hope price doesn't consolidate again like it did yesterday. And then makes its move after my trading hours. Gold's dumping. Again, we know that Tokyo lows were still on tap. That could have been the reason we're dumping there. So I'm not seeing good reactions. Again, we're seeing buyers trying to take control. We're seeing these top wicks, which are telling me that sellers are still kind of fighting here. So again, like I'd rather just wait for this next reaction point, either off 7% or off of this order block that we have within this discounted range. Both would be nice. What would be really optimal is if we see price shot down with a nice little bottom wick reacting off both of those, and obviously I'm going to shoot there. How long does it take to get approved for the account? Like after buying it or passing it? We are kind of holding within this area, guys, but we're just not looking too nice. I mean, we're again seeing another top wick here where again buyers look like they're in control, kind of getting pushed back here. Like if we would have entered, it would have been a break of these highs, and our TP would damn near be, I mean, our stop loss would damn near be getting hit here soon. So again, that reaction tells us so much. It does. UK 100 is coming back higher. Again, I'm not going to look for sells until we make a new low. I just had this marked up, guys. I start this month, which $5, how much can I make with all signals? What do you think? It just depends on how much you're risking. Has ever getting you bird when you road rage? Yeah, it's happening, Cartoony. Nice little cells, Alvin. Fire. Salmon, it just depends. Like, it depends on how much you're looking to risk. It really all depends. Like, if you're actually, like, looking for proper risk, then obviously it's going to be a lot slower. But if you kind of like, when it comes to smaller accounts, like if you want to make a lot fast, you're going to have to risk pretty heavy. Like you will. But ultimately, like, again, like if you go, if, you know, I go on a losing streak, which again, if you're here from the beginning of the month, you'd be up tremendously. But if you're here just this week, we're down 2 trades this week. So again, it's just, you know, that's where, again, like trading with lower accounts can be fun sometimes, but it also can be horrible sometimes because, again, like, when it comes to your risk, like if you're risking higher, you could just lose it a lot faster. Obviously, if we do end up going on a winning streak, which obviously happens, then yes, you can make some very fast money. But I think the best thing to do is, like, if you're going to share that $500 account, like personally, I would just kind of like risk higher, knowing the risk behind it, in the sense that you can lose it a lot faster. But I think the better thing to do would be taking that $500 and going to get like a 100K funded account, because then you know that you can have proper risk on that 100K account and still make decent money. Because again, like if you were to risk 1% of $500 account, what is that, $5? If I'm not wrong. And if you were to risk 1% on a 100K account, that's $1,000. So, you know, risking 1%, you're going to make money a lot slower, you know. Price is reacting off this order block, guys. But I need to see a strong reaction. You risk $100, then if you risk $100, like, you still have opportunity to, I guess you could say, have 5 trades. And, you know, I think you'd be pretty solid. A horrible reaction, guys. Absolutely fucking horrible. I mean, we still didn't close beneath it, so depending on this candle, if we do react off of it and go higher, I'll play the break of this candle high. But if we don't close bullish on this candle with a pretty nice push, then I'm not going to enter. Again, reactions, everything. And in these cases where we don't see a reaction off that first initial candle that taps, I will play that next candle just depending on how it reacts. But even if we sell lower, we still have this order block down here that we could potentially see a reaction from. Did we tap it? Nope, just missed it. What a pullback. If we close above 7%, oh, we didn't. That's so fucking ugly. Let's see. All right, I think we now hit that order block. Did we? We tapped it perfectly. So depending on the reaction here, if we just see a nasty bottom wick, and then we see buyers start taking back control, then I'm going to buy. But again, like the reaction's so important, and there's prime examples over here where again, like there was no good reactions and we just continue to see price sell off, sell off, sell off. And that's why reactions are very, very important to me. All right, that's fire. All right, guys, I might be looking for entry here. Good reaction off the order block. Once we get this candle closed, I will be taking the break of the candle high. All right, let's see. Let's see. I'll shoot here. We'll give it a shot. All right, I'm in. 10-point stop loss, 20-point TP. We'll let it play. If it loses, it loses. Again, this is our first trade of the week for NQ, so I could care less. But obviously, you know, stops are in a decent spot. We had a good reaction off that order block. This is the type of reaction that I'm talking about. It's a very nice reaction where we had price sell off, create a nice little bottom wick, and then flip bullish. But ultimately, that doesn't mean price still can't sell off. Again, from like a higher time frame standpoint, we could just end up tanking here and create a new low down, and then we look for sells back down. But I'd probably only take this trade. Once I get to 101, guys, I will be moving to break even. But let's see what happens. We'll let that do its thing. DAX is still coming higher. Kind of taking a while, but nice little bottom wick. Yeah, George, I'm thinking the same thing. When I realized Santa was fake, I don't even know. I don't even know what age I was at, to be honest with you. Good reaction here, guys. The reason I like this reaction is, again, if we saw this, if we look at this previous candle created an imbalance within the market. It, again, didn't have no bottom wicks, top wicks to kind of fill that imbalance in. We closed this next candle, ended up printing lower, filling that imbalance, and then taking off higher. That ultimately is a very good reaction. Obviously, that doesn't mean prices we're going to win, but it's just a very good reaction to see. But let's see if we hit 101, then we'll be risk-free. That is ugly. Ugly, ugly, ugly. That reaction didn't do shit. I mean, granted, again, it's still a good reaction to see price come down, rebalance that previous candle, and then continue higher. But again, like I just said, it's not a make or break for our trade. Horrible reaction. No topic or anything either. Just bearish volume. Ugh, what a week. I mean, granted, again, this is our only trade for NQ, so I could care less. But still doesn't mean I like to lose. I don't like losing. We are killing it the first month of NQ. But again, also, if we go back, can I enter? I wouldn't enter right now. I wouldn't enter until we see prices go higher. We could just see prices go lower, and we could have just been catching these buys at the last high. That could be leading to an overall bearish flip. And again, if that's the case, then we could look for sells here. But higher time frame looks, again, like that hourly is definitely like coming back here. we're about to get taken out, guys. Still in, but I think we will be taken out here. What a L. What a L. Again, I can't complain about the setup. We did everything appropriately, other than the fact that price lost there. Buying it to get the funding. Oh, buying it, you should get approved instantly. Again, guys, took a small loss, nothing too crazy. So again, we definitely can re-enter, but at this point, since price kind of invalidated that zone, I don't think I'm going to be looking for any buying opportunities unless we do end up seeing price come back above these highs and giving us some type of another bullish leg to play off of. Would suck to see price kind of just fuck us over. My stop already got hit on Legacy. It'd be fucked to see price kind of play us over like that. But again, that's just what happens sometimes. Yeah, tiny stop loss. Again, I like those tiny stop losses because it's not only because our TPs get hit a lot faster, but in this case, it typically always aligns with the low beneath the lows of that reaction candle. So, but again, this hourly isn't looking too hot as far as we are coming up, just seeing a nasty top wick. And again, like what we could be seeing is we could be seeing price, again, we could have been buying at those highs, which again, like there's no determining when price is going to sell off or not, but we could have been buying at a point where price is now going to look to sell off and facilitate the pullback of this bullish hourly leg. But that's where I say we could end up flipping buys here depending on how price continues to play off or play out. If we do end up seeing lower prices, we do start seeing breaks of these lows here, then we can play this bearish leg back down 100%. Here, we see a break of this low, we can definitely play sells back down, and I'm willing to shoot again. Like again, I can trade twice. Like I don't have a big stop loss, only 300. So again, like I'm always willing to shoot again if need be. But again, if nothing presents itself, DAX is still looking ugly. What a chopped week though. But I'm gonna be here for a while, so. What's up, Adrian? Yeah, again, like you guys can definitely stay in. Again, price still has room to go higher. And the reason I say price has room to go higher is because we are within this bullish leg, 100%. So obviously we want to continue to play buys if we're still bullish, you know, trade with the trend. But again, like from a higher time frame standpoint, we could have been buying at the last high, and that could, you know, cause price to now sell off, and then we just catch these sells down into and play that pullback of that higher time frame leg. And again, I could have waited for that, but again, like nothing really depicts if price or when price I could say is going to make a flip. But just based off, again, how the hourly looks now, we did have a nice little push. Obviously, we can continue higher. Nothing says that we have to stop. And that was kind of the bias today as far as we're still bullish. We could ultimately continue higher. But now that we're not, again, like I could definitely play these sells back down. But again, like we need to see a break, a pullback, and then we can definitely play these sells. And again, we'd look for the same thing. We'd wait for a reaction. Just like up here. Again, we didn't take the reaction of the 50% because, again, we kind of just blew right through it. Same thing, 71% kind of blew right through it, but then we saw price react off this order block with a nice reaction, and that ultimately is what sold me over here. But again, I'm still looking at DAX, still looking at UK 100. I do think DAX has possibilities to continue higher here. Just like yesterday, we're consolidating. Like, what's the fucking deal with that? I don't really look at gold. I'm not a fan of gold. Gold is selling off probably into Tokyo lows. Yeah. We are starting to sell off into Tokyo lows. So, like, we could play this bearish leg down, but, again, I really don't like trading gold whatsoever. I'm in sell, fire. What are you in sell in gold? Gold sells are fire. I'm almost kind of contemplating taking a break of this high. Stops would obviously be a little bit bigger. But ultimately, again, like with the hourly kind of reacting in a way where we're just kind of coming down, taking liquidity. And if we do see a flip within this next 17 minutes, maybe I take a break of those highs. Because again, like the bias is the same. Like, truly, being that we never made a new low and we just kind of wicked it and came higher, these entries are still valid, but I just don't like this consolidation. It's just ugly as fuck. Like, we saw this shit yesterday too. Where was it? Here, we saw this shit yesterday before price made its move. That shit's ugly. All right, we are now coming lower. I mean, we're still kind of waiting in this area. Still kind of waiting. Are you fasting? No. I need to, though. Shit. I need to fucking fast. Oh, yeah. Don't you guys like fasting right now? If I'm not wrong. I'm half white, half Mexican. Half and half. Cartoony, how the fuck? I mean, I know what's happening over there, but why are you asking as if like I live over there? A lot of fuck shit's happening. Bro, we are fasting. Oh shit. Man, show away this guy. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy shit going on in Mexico right now. I pray for everyone. Like, I really like feel bad for like the people who are at the resorts and stuff like that, because that's just, you know, like you go on vacation, you go chilling, and then all this pops off, and like you're stuck there. Like, there's literally people stuck there, like fearing for their lives, and that's what's kind of. I've been training for about 5 years. For about 5 years. Oh, what about my Thai tour? What about it? Yeah, I'm going to March. March 8th, I'm out of here. March 8th, I'm out. So I won't be live that day, guys. Cartoony, why do you keep switching your name? Damn, bro, no way you're coming March 12th. That's fucked. I'm gone skis by then. I won't be back for till the end of the month. Oh my god. Of course. Escondida Torta Bops is crazy. That's all you, buddy. Price is like not wanting to do anything now. We get in, price comes down, takes us out barely, and we're just now kind of fucking around here. He copied your name. It looks like it. Conrad, how long have you been trading? Again, guys, if we do see price buy back up here, the only way I would re-enter buys is if price does start coming up and like within this internal structure here. If we do see like a break of this high and we see like an internal pullback and continuation, that's the only way I'll take another buy here. Which is better, swing or scalp? I'd say scalping. It just depends on your personality. I think it's really personality based because like if you are busy, if you do like work, again, like swing trading is definitely the go-to because you're able to just place a limit and walk away and not necessarily have to worry about it and not have to be there for a session. Like I used to be like an intraday swing trader. That's kind of how I started. And I still kind of am. But like I've basically applied the same concepts into DAX and UK 100, but just more day trading approach. I'm a swinger. Cartoony, I wouldn't doubt. I'm new to trading. What's up, Conrad? How long you like? How new? Like this week new? Month new? 2 months? 3 months? Curious. UK 100 is coming higher, guys. Again, like we did have this internal break here, had a pullback, had a new internal leg, pullback and continuation. But I just was not fond of this reaction. Just was not too fond of it. If like we broke these highs, or if we had a very strong reaction, like coming higher, breaking these highs, we could have played that pullback higher. But the fact of the matter is we didn't. I'm one month new. Okay. Why is crypto pay not in Latin Kingdom? Let's see. It's just not something they offer right now. Possibly in the future. I'm going to try and learn it within the last month. It's just, or I'm going to try and learn it in the last month. Say my first day of funded fire, Conrad. So y'all are up this month, but it's just been fuck fair for me. Damn, give me a break. Yeah, as it happens again. Like one thing I tell like a lot of people is like, you can do bad for the first 6 months of the year and still make it back at the end of the year. It's about thinking long term. I mean, realistically, like you shouldn't be losing every day for 6 months. No, like if you're losing way more than you're winning for the first 6 months, then something's wrong within your system or your technical analysis. But if you're just ending the month down and you had your wins, you had your losses, but overall you're just down, that's fine. Again, you have to think more long term. And this is where like funding can sometimes be fucked, because in some cases, again, you can have a bad couple months and then have a good couple months. And, you know, if you do have a live account, or you do, you know, even if you do trade on a funded account, you know, you may in the first couple months, you know, do bad on that funded account and then, you know, make it all back with a new funded account at the end of the year. But granted, it's really about capital preservation. But again, like statistically speaking, like if we want to get on I saw this thing where it was like, statistically speaking, based off your win rate, even if you have like a 50 to 60% win rate, at some point you will potentially go on a 5 to 8 loss streak. Just based off statistics, it can happen. That doesn't necessarily mean your setup's bad. Doesn't mean you need to change anything. Maybe in some case, like if it's losses that you have no control over, meaning you followed everything within your system to the fucking T, again, like that can happen. It's fine. It's losses. But obviously if you're taking losses, unnecessary losses, because you're entering early with FOMO, you're revenge trading, and you're taking an extra loss than what you should be, that's where obviously there's a problem. But that's more psychological than anything. January's beautiful. Is getting paper January. Now it's getting fucked February. This week, guys, I'm getting fucked. I mean, granted, you know, NASDAQ, this was the only trade that we've taken the entire week. The other two setups that we saw literally fucking took off in our direction, just barely fucking missed our reaction points, which sucks. But again, that's trading at the end of the day. It's going to happen. And then, of course, the trade that we do get entry on, it loses. But again, that happens, right? It goes to show that our bias has been correct this entire week up until today, where, again, we do take that trade. And our bias could still end up playing out. But at the end of the day, like obviously at this point it isn't, and that could have just been, you know, a read from the higher time frames. I mean, granted, I would have been bullish either way, just because we had a nice little bullish push within the last 2 hours before this hour. But obviously we can see that price kind of came up, reacted off of this like imbalance here, this fair value gap, and could be looking to now push lower due to the fact that we have a lot of imbalance sitting down here. So everyone he and trading for more than 3-4 years and don't make 50, 100K a year a month, stop search. Huh? I don't get you, Samet. You might have to fix a couple words in there. What's up, Michael? Yeah, Samet, we don't know what you mean. Reword, rephrase. Thank you very much. Good. You can still be up overall. Yeah. Again, like even with these last 2 weeks, guys, like I've taken 2 losses on, what was it? Were they both on DAX? They were both on DAX, but I'm still up for the month very nicely. just because again, like risk is in place. I'm not over risking, and again, like I'm just telling you guys this because if I'm not over risking, you guys shouldn't be over risking. Yes, in some cases when your trades win, it can be very nice and seeing that, you know, you made extra money, but it's just not a good habit to have long term. It really isn't. So Michael, no trades yet. DAX is kind of just consolidating, starting to come back lower. If we do see lower prices, then I'm just going to kind of call it a day. Could be a no trade day for UK 100 and DAX. NQ, we did have our setup, and prices now kind of just consolidating as well. Again, we could see another opportunity depending if price breaks these highs, and then we do see another reaction higher. What trade? This trade? NASDAQ M? And Q, no, I did get stopped out here. Got stopped out. We did get somewhat closer at 101, but price did end up flipping on us, and now we're just kind of sitting within a consolidation. But I'm looking to potentially give it another shot. It just really just depends on what price continues to do. So again, like if we do see a leg higher, we can play a reaction back up. Or if we do see price break these lows here, then we could wait for that pullback and then play the sells back lower. But again, like if we do break these lows, I would now consider us bearish, at least within this 1 minute time frame, even within the 5 minute. So we could definitely play sells back down. Yeah. It was good up 9% of the month. This month I'm down 5%. So yeah, you're still up for the year. Again, that can happen. Again, like I said, like you can have bad months. And again, the month's not over. I mean, we are about to end the month. No way price just flies here. What the fuck is DAX doing, guys? We're about to see our next 30-minute close. 1 more percent, my account is gone. Yeah, see, that's kind of the hard part with funded accounts is like when that does happen, like let's say you had a good month in January, you decided to buy an account for February, you know, you have a bad month in February, that's where funded accounts can kind of bite you in the ass. But again, like that's where like funded accounts are cheaper, especially like futures. So that's where you are able to just go into another account at the start of March, and March might be a really great month and you get a couple payouts. You pass your account, get a couple payouts. Great. But that's why, like I always say, like the main goal and everyone's goal should just be get payouts, put into a live account, because when you have a decent live account and you can risk appropriately, you can make good money, you can withdraw whenever, and ultimately, if you do have a bad month, you know you'll be fine because there's no like loss limits and stuff like that. Fucking NQ, guys. Fucking NQ. It's being a bitch. I still need to see a break this high. Yeah, I might have to, Cartoony. 10% consistency. Z, what are you trading on? But what I like can suggest for you, Z, is going and making sure you're always tracking your trades. And you can track it based off how you're doing within the prop firm, but track them in the sense of like just based off percentages or RR, because then at the end of the year, you're going to get an idea of, okay, in the month of January, I was up good. February, I lost 5%. You may blow an account, but you may go into March, and again, you have another great month, and you may see that, again, if you were on a live account, if you would have put money into a live account, just traded that live account appropriately with appropriate risk, you would still be up. I'm loving the profile pic. I know, Cartoonie's fucking wild, man. Cartoonie's the biggest troll ever. Bro, Dax is fucking around, guys. This is the second day where we've seen Dax just kind of fucking have its opening move and just fucking consolidates. I thought instants are 20%. Unless myself I'm mistaken. But I believe I read the rules and it's 20. Pump it. I know if we get another bottom wick, especially ending the hour with a nice little bottom wick. UK 100 is going higher. No, we didn't. I don't think we changed it. I would have been told. I can ask the team, but I don't think we changed it. Just me on your stream cut off. Wait, what? Did my stream cut off? Uh-oh. Yes, man, can't see your chart, only you. Hold on. Better? I'm still willing to give Dex a shot if we break these highs, to be honest, especially seeing these last two bottom wicks. But if we just continue to consolidate, all we need to see is you, though. Gosh. Fruity ass is crazy. Well, we are seeing prices come higher, but again, like going back to it, if we would have taken that first initial break here, which again, the bias was bearish from the get-go, so obviously I don't want to trade with my bias or trade bullish with my bias being bearish. We would have hit 101, we would have profited a bit, we would have had the rest of our position taken out at break even, and ultimately I probably wouldn't have re-entered again. But again, like I'm definitely going to use this for data. If prices do end up going higher here, and we do see prices just continue higher and higher and higher and higher, then again, this is going to be a good data point, right? It's not, this one wasn't really based off the fact of taking that second entry that we are trading into all-time highs, because at this point, again, like the data that I went back and got was like, it does support me trading into all-time highs, but it was just the reaction that we had. We just had a very nasty reaction after we took these highs that do kind of push me to the side from trading higher, because of the fact that we did have a lot of buying pressure, took liquidity, and then sellers kind of took control back. That's clarity. I think that's clarity, Z. I thought you said legacy. Yeah. Legacy's 20%. Yeah, I wouldn't know for clarity. Thoughts on Chris Trades? He's a beast. That's my boy. You're good. I still like this trade, guys. I still like buys, especially because what do we see? We just saw price on the daily fill this imbalance, and we are now seeing a bottom wick. We have no top wick on the daily. Okay, so that's obviously another confluence as far as buys here. So if we break this high, as long as it's within this next hour, I will take it. I gotta send this my personal Discord. Hold on.
When do you say you'll take the buy on J40? Only if we get that break. If we get that break within the next hour, I'm going to take it. But again, like if it breaks after 2 a.m., which would fucking suck, because again, like I am very big on following my rules. If it's after 2 a.m., I cut off all my trading. It's just a no for me. But if it happens before 1, if we just break this high here, I'm going to shoot. Again, like we look good on higher time frames. 4 hour came back, respected this area. If you want to say fair value gap, I just look at it more as like we rebalance the imbalance within that last leg. Same thing here. The daily came down, had a nice rebalance of this previous bullish leg. We have no topic on the daily. We have really good confluences for prices going higher. But again, my stop would obviously be at these lows, which is kind of bigger for some. But ultimately, again, like we have very good confluences for buys there. UK 100 is ripping. We're ripping on UK 100. Again, like I could say this could have been a buying opportunity, but even then, like it's just not ideal based off this. And again, we'll see, because like let's say we did end up taking the buys off of 50% here, which I again, like I wouldn't even have done this, because when price shoots that far fast back into discounted price, it typically does not ever, I can't say ever, but it typically does not hold strong. I would have rather seen price play higher here on the 5 minute. Even if it did wick it like that, then I would have rather see a slow push down or slower, and then we could have potentially considered that 50%. But again, like what I am going to see is, 1, will price hit our 101 at these highs, which it probably will hit that. But 2, is price going to go into our desired 1 to 2? And we'll see. But DAX needs to stop fucking around, dude. Just ugly. Oh my gosh. Nans looks ugly too, guys. I can't even fucking complain about this loss, especially with this shit going on. I almost don't even want to look for a trade after this, man. Ugly. Absolutely fucking ugly. Do we have news tomorrow or something? We have unemployment claims. Not crazy big. I think we take February off, right, Nick? No, I'm still going to be back tomorrow to trade, guys. Again, it's the last trading day of the month tomorrow. Again, we still could end up getting into DAX as long as we do see a break of these highs before 2 a.m. And again, we still have some potential here to make back some of the losses from this week. And ultimately, like any trade from here on out would just be to capitalize on the month's profit so far. And even if we did lose this trade, we'd still be fine for the month. Again, like I've had a good month. I could just end up taking the month off, or like not taking this trade in tomorrow's trade. But again, with something looking this good, let's say if I just said fucking didn't take it and it did win, I'd be cutting myself short of profits and following my system. Again, because this is part of my system. We are going to Thailand, right, Unc? Cartoon, you coming with me? What's your thoughts on full port and 5 evals? Like in most cases, I think you can like full port Apex. Lucid. I mean, you could. You really could. I'd say, I don't know, like I've never been the biggest fan of full porting, just because again, like obviously you can go 100% south on you. You looking for buys on UK 100? No, I'm not looking for buys on UK 100. I'm looking for buys on DAX. I honestly think UK 100 is going to most likely stall out. I just had to mark this up. I think UK 100 still has room to go lower. Obviously, we're still bullish, like within this hourly like leg, so that could call for higher prices. But just based off this reaction, I'm just not a fan of that. It just really leans me more towards sells than anything. But that doesn't mean I'm going to go and sell. If anything, I'm looking for buys on DAX, but it needs to happen before 2 a.m. Fucking cartoony. I can't with you, bro. Cartoony, meet me out there. Again, I'm still going to be trading, guys. There's prime time trading out there. It's like at 2 p.m. I'll be live at 2 p.m. Obviously, that's their time, but it'll still be same time over here. I forgot you live in India. Oh my gosh, guys. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be looking for another trade on NQ. I'll take the loss. I'll take it for what it is. Again, it was still a good week on NQ. And the only reason I say it was a good week, one, I mean, we only had one trade. So, I mean, in that sense, like it wasn't good. But in the trades that we did end up seeing play out, beautiful bias, beautiful price action, I could say, other than the fact that we literally missed our entry point twice. It wasn't back-to-back days. I think it was Monday and then yesterday. So again, like I can't complain other than the lack of trades that we have. But again, like if you guys don't know, I've been trading NQ for a long time, but I haven't traded NQ during London for more than 2 months actively. Did get a lot of data on it. So obviously I didn't come in here blindly and just not having a system. Before I even started trading with you guys, I made sure that I had enough data to create a system based off of what I saw and how price was reacting during London. But ultimately, again, like there's still a lot of data to get. In this case, there's really like not a lot of data. Like the only data I could get from NQ today was the fact that, again, we could have been more prioritized on sells due to the fact that we were very bullish. But again, just because we're very bullish and we could have a pullback doesn't necessarily mean we are going to have a pullback. And I guess the same thing can go for UK 100 as well. But ultimately, just based off structure on UK 100, that's where, later, Jay, that's where, thank you for joining in. That's where, again, like I could say I stayed away from buys on UK 100. But again, if we're still trending bullish on NAS, hourly, higher time frames still are bullish, I'm still going to continue within that bullish bias. But even if it came to me having a sell bias today, there would have been no selling opportunities. Even now, even an hour and 10 minutes into London session, we were still bullish within the 1 minute. I'm obviously not going to sell within a bullish structure. I would have had to wait for this low to be broken. But as you can see, price is just struggling here. Back and forth kind of thing. Ugly. But yeah, guys, I'm going to be getting off here soon. Again, we'll go over my bias one more time. As far as DAX, again, if we do see prices come higher, break this high, I will enter. The only way I won't enter is if it happens after 2 a.m. If I also won't enter if price does end up closing beneath these lows, I won't enter. But again, I did post this in my personal Discord. I'll be keeping you guys up to date if I do end up entering, but it's just a matter of if we're going to enter. Obviously, again, like we need to see price come up, break these highs. That's without a doubt. But right now we're consolidating. And just like yesterday, again, it would suck to see price. Again, just like yesterday, it kind of consolidated, then finally made its move higher at 220, which is out of my trading hours. It would suck to see that, but even if it does happen and it does play out, again, it's very good data as far as our bias is playing out. But again, like we just can't control when the markets are going to do what we want it to do, right? But again, still not a bad day. No trades yet as far as DAX UK 100. I'm going to keep you guys up to date. Definitely won't take any trades UK 100. I don't think will play out in time. But we'll still see if my bias plays out as far as seeing sells. Why am I lagging so hard? NQ. NQ, again, we did take some buys within this area. We had a nice little bullish impulse, but we just ended up selling off, getting us out. We're now coming up higher, which is fucking shitty. But I really don't think I'm going to take any trades. I mean, we could wait for some type of break here, pull back and continuation. But it's not looking too good. Gold, I'll go over gold. Even though I hate gold. Cartoon, you should know this. You've been a long time viewer. Gold, we did end up selling off here on gold. I think here we're just kind of seeing a pullback. We could still see lower prices from here on out because I don't think we've taken Tokyo lows. Why am I lagging so bad? My trading view's lagging. So I do think we still could see lower prices here. What we thinking on NQ? Like we are finally seeing some volume step into play here. Like we could still take a trade. We could still take another trade again. I have a max 2 trades for the day. We are now breaking this high. So I guess we could end up waiting for a pullback. In continuation, we never made a new low. So we're still valid for buys. But if we just start pumping, again, like it just goes to show our bias was correct. We were too early. But again, like I always tell you guys, you never know when you're going to be too early. It's just a matter of when that trade plays out. It will tell you if you're too early. But even then, even if we did wait, there was really no areas of interest down at these lows where price is now taking off from for us to even enter. Other than the fact that we are now within the internal structure of this 1 minute swing leg, breaking these internal highs. and that could, you know, obviously be a sign that price is now looking to go higher. I'll give it about 10 minutes, guys. I'll give it about 10 minutes. Again, we only had one trade for NQ, so I'm willing to still give it a shot if it's really going to present itself. But we still have tomorrow as well. We still have tomorrow. If price just starts ripping, and we get up into these highs or even these highs here, I'll probably just really call it a day and just take the data for what it is. Again, it just goes to show, again, our bias played out as far as expecting buys. It's just a matter of we were just a little bit early. But again, the only way I will enter off of this, which we have a nice area, is if we come down to 50%. We have a nice little order block down here as well. If we see a nice little reaction, we could definitely shoot here, but it's just if, you know, we could just continue to see higher prices. My phone knows so. Getting a little tired. Getting a little tired. Tired. It's hot. I don't know why it's so fucking hot. My PC is fucking radiates so much heat. My trading view feels so laggy, man. Think we can sweep the highs and take sells? Potentially. Like, you guys, like, I'm still bullish because, again, like, we never broke this low here. It protected it, and we can see that price never made a new low. And now we're seeing price. Why is my trading view so laggy? Now we're seeing price finally make some type of internal bullish confirmation. So I think, like, if we'd swept this high, then you could take sells. But overall, again, price can continue pumping within that bullish trend. I'm gonna go get blackout drunk and think about my last, and I'll say, nah, don't do that, Z. Don't get blackout drunk, but go back and review. Like, the biggest thing that I could suggest, guys, if you're not learning from every single, like, win, lose, break even, no matter what it is. In some cases, like, obviously, if you're following your system to the T, you win. There's only so much, like, data you can really pull out of the markets. But again, there's still information to get. Like, let's say you took a sell and it won, but price continued to dump. There's still observations to be made on why you could have potentially held longer. I'm not saying go tomorrow and hold longer, but I'm just saying get that data, because in due time, within the next couple months, if you have a lot of data to back up holding longer in certain situations, why wouldn't you want to hold longer? You know, again, like, that's why I preach data on a consistent basis, because it's so important. It's been so important to my success, my students' success. It's key to everything. Can't say everything, but it's key to a lot. And again, like, if you guys are solely just trading with me, like, there's still data you can get. Like, if you guys are going to trade with me, like, the hardest thing is if you guys are trading with every single creator in here, me, Luca, Mark, Chris, like, obviously you're going to have a mixed input of data, because we all trade somewhat similar, but all have our different entry points. And that's where it can kind of be hard. Yeah, I'll message you guys. I'll message in the Discord. I already put, like, as soon as we break this high, I'm definitely getting in, as long as it happens within the next, before 2 a.m. I mean, should we give this another shot, guys? I definitely can. cartoony your fucking gifts, man. Like, my internet's bad or something right now, guys. Can you guys, like, hear me and shit? I don't know what the fuck's going on. Looking for possible sales on NQ? Yeah, I hear you. No, I'm looking for buys. And the reason I'm still looking for buys is because we never invalidated that bullish 1 minute leg here. Like, we were trending bullish here. Had a higher high, pullback, higher high, higher low, higher high, pullback, higher high. We had a pullback where we did take entry. We did see price come a little bit lower, but ultimately it never broke this low. This is our protected low. It's our last low that led to that break of structure. We kind of hovered around here, consolidated, and we're now breaking in the internal structure within this 1 minute swing bullish leg. So, like, I could still look for some buys up within here, or I mean, yeah, but I would need to again see a very nice reaction, not a slight reaction. I need to see price come down into this area, have a very strong reaction from one of these areas, either this area, the order block, 71%. I'm willing to give it a shot, guys, just because again our first loss was only 300. So that's why I'm still willing. And if we lose, we will. The week's not over. We can still come back tomorrow and go break even for the week, at least on NQ. I'm not over to share and trying to catch this W. Fire. Again, let's hope we get that reaction. Let's hope we get that entry, and let's see some profits to end the night. Wouldn't be too shabby. Yeah, Z. Again, like, even if I had a lower stop loss, like, let's say if I would have, like, obviously had the same entry and my stops were at these lows, we would have gotten edged. We probably still would have been in. But just based off the data that I have gotten so far, and again, like I say, guys, like, I'm still always looking to get more data, especially on NQ. I have so much data on UK 100 and DAX, but NQ, obviously, there's still a lot of data to get, and a lot of that could be having a bigger stop losses in some cases. But since I'm playing the reactions at a high volume hour, typically, and in most cases, my 10-point stop loss is always beneath the lows. And because I'm playing the reaction, I'm just expecting price with volume to just fly. And obviously, in some cases, not just going to fly, but because I'm playing off the reaction where price, in theory, after having that reaction, shouldn't come back lower unless it's going to invalidate the entire trade in itself, then, obviously, like, that's why I keep the 10-point stop loss. But again, this is a prime example of where I can get data based off the fact that if we would have had stops beneath this low, we would still be in, we would still be pushing profits here. But ultimately, it would have just called for a bigger TP as well. Again, I like going for 1 to 2. In this case, we had stops beneath the lows. Our 1 to 2 would be still at these highs. But again, like, nothing's promised as far as us looking or going higher. Again, I just like playing those little reactions, quick little 20 points. But again, Zay, like, it is fair to say that, but ultimately, like, based off my data right now, like I said, it is just, why is TradingView so laggy? What's going on? Oh my God. I already know what's going to happen here, guys. I already know what's going to happen on DAX. We're going to fucking chop around. And I don't even want to jinx myself. But I just feel like we're going to chop around and we're going to see prices starting to come higher. And we're going to have the same thing as yesterday where we break those highs a little bit after my trading hours. It's gonna, if it does, it's gonna hit hard. I'm not gonna give NQ a shot if we do re-break these highs and go higher. I'm just gonna kind of leave it for what it is and kind of come back later and see if it does end up playing out. Maybe I catch a trade, after stream, but ultimately my cutoff hour is 2 a.m. too. So if it doesn't end up pulling back within 2 a.m., it is what it is. It is what it is. It's so fucking hot. Price needs to give us something, man. Either need to go higher and I'll just call it a night, or need to come lower and give us entry. I just so have a feeling we're gonna fuck around here. Oh my god. I'm like dying of heat exhaustion right now. I'm gonna give it 6 minutes. I'm going to sleep later, Cartini. So deprived. I know, me too. I need sleep. The bad thing is I know I'm not going to sleep until like 2 or 3 in the morning. Alright, we are seeing lower prices. We could still get entry here, guys. We'll see. Again, we need to see a good reaction. If price has a shit reaction at 50%, we'll wait for the next level. But if obviously, again, like price could still trade down into these areas, not have the best reaction and go higher. But I need to see a good reaction. It is getting late though. UK 100 is coming lower. Does anyone even trade Sydney now? Oh my fucking gosh. Price is just taking the fucking shit. I'm really only going to give it 5 minutes. Unless we just break these highs, and I'm just going to call it. Yeah, nah, I don't think Sydney's all too well. It's just not a prime time session. There's definitely some people in Sydney. Getting some volume. As soon as we break above these highs, I'm out of here. I'm fucking out. I am fucking out. So sleep, brother, it's just not worth it. We gonna catch a big one tomorrow. Yeah. I just wanted to give it a shot. Again, like it still looks good as far as we saw internal the price internally go bullish. We're still bullish within the swing 1 minute structure. It looks nice. But yeah, I think that's definitely it for the night. So again, guys, you guys know the bias. As far as NASDAQ, I mean, I may take it. It depends if I'm still awake. I'll still be awake. So if we do end up seeing that pullback and it looks good, I may take it. And that's the thing where I tell you guys, like, again, like you can just still look at it. I may not be here. It doesn't mean you can't take a trade. UK 100, not taking anything. DAX, I'm still looking for these buys. 100%. I do hope that we do end up seeing the break of this high within the next 30 minutes. That's the case, great. But thank you guys for tuning in. I know we took a loss on NQ. I'm still looking for a potential setup for the next 30 minutes. But again, like I'm not gonna be live. I gotta go get some things done. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's end the week with a fucking banger. This week has been a little bit choppy for us. It's been a little bit of a fuck, but that's trading. We still had a great month. So again, if you guys been with me from the start of the month, you're solid. That being said, if you guys are new here, make sure start of March, you guys are here every fucking day. And the reason I say here every single day is because it's so important, because you never know. The day you could miss, I catch a win. You come back the next day, I lose, and you're down. That's trading. But ultimately, if you guys are going to trade with me, make sure you guys are actually trading with me. If I'm consistent every single day, I know I'm a full-time trader. But even before I was a full-time trader, I made sure that I showed up every single day, at least when I could, unless it was like a family emergency. Because again, like the key to trading is consistency. It really is. So thank you guys. Thank you, Ms. Jinx. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, 11:45 p.m. PST. I'll be here. Take care. Later, YouTube.